Salute, salute, salute. Wow. So, Shakur Stevenson, I heard him say that Tank got the world fooled, thinking that he a real killer, doing these pay-per-views, knocking out guys like Ryan Garcia. He said he gonna expose him. He been fighting guys that he can knock out because these guys trying to knock him out, and he's saying that he ain't been in there with somebody that's gonna take him 12 rounds. That's gonna mess with his heart. Somebody that he can't hurt. Basically saying that if he get the chance to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, he gonna dress him in front of the whole world for what he really is. My thoughts, nocturnal thoughts. This is what I think about it. I like Shakur Stevenson. Special fighter. In today's boxing, he a throwback, but he also, that new breed. But he's a special fighter. Very, very defensive. Very calculated. Very technical. Instincts is incredible. Reflexes on point. Got just enough power to set somebody on their back pockets. I think he's very, very close to being a complete fighter. Very close. I don't see too many weaknesses. The only few weaknesses that I can see is something that is just a matter of time. And in my opinion, he's kind of before his time when it comes to his experience level and his mentality, his ring IQ, his boxing IQ, his size. He's a little bit before his time. So you see everything starting to catch up. I really do hope to see him share the ring with a Gervonta Tank Davis, who, in my opinion right now, has entered into his prime. I don't think Shakur Stevenson has entered into his prime. So I'm saying this, young bull, heel, slow down. He's talking the right talk. I like to hear him talk that way. But don't get ahead of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't put the cart before the horse. Stay true to yourself. I hear what you're saying, and in some ways I agree with what you're saying. But overall, when I look at that fight, if I put those guys in the ring right now, I'm gonna go with Gervonta Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of reasons. For one, I feel like Shakur, he's still being groomed and cultivated, and he's still being developed. You know what I'm saying? And when you being developed, even though you could be like 90% developed or 95% developed, when you want to be 100% developed and perfect, you want to be 100%. Anything less is gonna come to the game with a weakness. Like, I don't feel like Shakur Stevenson has still been exposed to all the atmospheres and elements of the big show of boxing. He's been groomed, and he's been somewhat catered to, but he's been more like the favorite in most of his fights. His toughest fight, in my opinion, to this day was still Robinson Conceição. I think Oscar Valdez he had his moments, but once the T situation came out, you kind of seen him deflate, and I thought he lost that fight to Robinson Conceição. Jamel Herring was a good fighter, but he wasn't in his prime, and Shakur was comfortable with fighting him due to sparring. This last dude that he fought, I'm not even going to try to say his name because I can't remember it, but Yoshi, he was a good fighter, solid fighter, especially going into 135 to be introduced to that weight class, but nothing special. He wasn't a special fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like if Mayweather would fight this guy like in retirement for an exhibition fight, the way he did that one dude, Extension, whatever the dude's name was. But Shakur Stevenson, I still don't think he's been exposed to the big show and all the elements of boxing. I feel like once you get like a Gervonta Tank Davis and his whole team, and Leonard Ellaby and Floyd, and the big promotion, the big show, it's gonna drain Shakur a different way. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna pull him away from just focusing on your craft and harnessing developing your craft. Now you got to focus on a whole nother level, and he's been there, but not to that level yet. And then not to mention the attributes inside the ring. I think everything that Shakur can do, I think Tank can do. I think some things that Shakur does a little bit better defensively, but I think tit for tat when it comes to they physical speed and athleticism and IQ and defense and ring generalship and perception and range and distance and changing gears and like switching up your speed and throwing feints and counter punching and pull counters and being able to pivot and move and focus off of angles and dip and slip and touch you here and hit you there, and I think all that stuff is that'd be interesting to see them go at it like that, because it'd be very, very close. But at the end of the day, when you do all the math, you still got to say Gervonta Tank Davis got the power to have a one-hitter quitter, one punch. Just got one punch power to knock you out. Shakur don't have that. He got a lot of elements. He got a lot of, he got some things that he can do, but he don't have that power. And I know it's not all about power, but the same things that he can do, Tank can do. He can't do everything Tank can do, but he do got like a physical advantage over Tank, being, it ain't that much of a difference in size. The thing about Tank is one of his biggest weaknesses, he turned it into his biggest strength, which is his size. So it's hard to, that's the first thing people go, oh, the size. With him, it's just, that would be a weakness, to be short arms and short. It's like Manny Pacquiao. He figured out a way to take his biggest weakness and turn it into his biggest strength. So therefore, it's kind of hard to find out what Tank's weakness is, because whatever it is, he's disguised it very, very well. I don't know what Tank's weakness is. I don't know what his weakness is right now. People look at him as just like a knockout artist, and that's just not what he is. So right off the bat, like when Shakur is like, oh, he's just knocking these guys out, I just think that's the wrong read to get on Tank. You know what I'm saying? Then I feel like Shakur thinks he's just going to fight him defensively. I don't think that's going to work. Not right now. Not with Shakur's style. I don't see that working for Shakur with Tank. I think he would have some success. He had more success than Ryan Garcia. But ultimately, I don't think that would win him the fight. He's going to have a better game plan than just fighting him defensively and doing a little check hook and spinning out. He's going to have to have more than that. He's going to have to have some more wrinkles than that. And I think he can develop them in a few more fights. And then Tank get, not to say age out Tank, but see Tank kind of have a few more fights, and you see him just decline just a little bit. Because heavy is the head that wears a crown. When you see Tank decline just a little bit, Shakur might be able to still get in there and fight him while he in his prime like at the part of his peak where he's starting to start to decline, and then Shakur be right at the pinnacle, and then you can fight him and get him. But right now, if you threw Shakur in there with Tank right now, I say it'd be a very, very interesting fight, very close fight. That'd be a type of fight I would be at the edge of my seat, watching every little thing. But ultimately, I would think that Tank will be able to beat him multiple ways. You know what I'm saying? Either by knockout or by 12-round decision, in my opinion. I think the moment would just be too big for Shakur, and I think Gervonta Tank Davis right now is too experienced and too much of in his prime. It has too much power. It hasn't shown any weaknesses that can be exploited. He's did a very good job at being, like they say, the best champions are the best liars. What you see is not what you get with Tank. It's more than meets the eye, and he's a puzzle. He's a what they call that, what they used to call, same thing they used to call Mayweather. The code, the Da Vinci Code, can't crack the code. Nobody has cracked that code on Gervonta Tank Davis yet. And with Shakur, he has looked great in his last 3 fights. The only fight he didn't look so great in was that Jeremiah Nakatilia fight. He looked great against Jamel Herring. He looked great against Oscar Valdez. He looked great against Robinson Conceição, and he looked great against Yoshino. But he didn't look like he was on the level that Tank is on. And that's not even looking at Ryan Garcia, Hector Garcia, and Isaac Cruz, and Rolly Romero. You know what I'm saying? And that caliber of opponent. I'm not really looking at the opponents. I'm just looking at what you can't see. It's trying to see what you can't see. There's more than meets the eye with Tank. We haven't seen the best of Tank. Shakur is still developing. I've seen some great things out of Shakur. And I'm not saying he can't win against Tank. I'm just saying proceed with caution. You know what I'm saying? Walk quiet and carry a big stick. Don't start talking recklessly and emotionally. And then, you know what I'm saying, stay focused, young blood. Stay focused. I think he's great. I think Shakur is great. I think Devin is great. And Gervonta Tank Davis is great. But don't go underestimating your opponent. Don't look at a champion and start underestimating the champion, saying, "Oh, he ain't as great as people think he is. I'm gonna expose him." Even if you think that, don't say that. If you plotting and you planning, be quiet. You know what I'm saying? That's real G's do move in silence. So be quiet, man. You start talking, you can talk yourself and expose yourself and mess around and have to eat them words. Like Ryan Garcia was talking for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? All that talk led to him taking a knee right on top of his Gatorade sign. All that commercials he was doing for Gatorade. Now he's sitting there shaking his head up at Tank like, no, I'm not getting up, right on top of the Gatorade sign. Shakur, keep moving smart. And when you take your opportunity, you know what I'm saying, you wanna strike. It's like you don't want nobody to see it coming. You know what I'm saying? The element of surprise. You dig? Don't be the loud person in the room. The loudest person is usually the weakest person. All right. Salute.